I'm Jito Fahadans, and today we're going to talk about the Sankor 16D. While not as great as other projection lenses I've reviewed before, this Sankor is still a good performer. It has flares similar to the Kowa 8Z and 16H and can deliver beautiful cinematic imagery. As any projection lens, it is double focus, and I'm using a single focus solution to make it friendlier. Another thing about projection lenses, if you're close focusing without diopters, you're also changing the stretch factor as explained in this other episode, so keep that in mind. Bokeh is nice and long, and the low performance edges can be beneficial to some projects. When I started out in anamorphics, there was an obvious rank of projection lenses. First, try getting yourself a Kowa B&H. If you can't find that, get an 8Z. If that's still not achievable, go for a Sankor 16D. Being ranked third among the best projection lenses is no easy feat. It also helps that these are more commonly found in some more obscure yet amazing scopes. This is a 2x stretch adapter, double focus, and focuses down to 1.5 meters or 5 feet. It has large front and rear glass, so it won't eat away much of your light, but it's considerably longer than the Kowas. As for attaching it to a taking lens, the Sankor 16D does not have standard threads, so you'll need a rear clamp, and you'll also need a front clamp to attach filters and diopters. For the back, I'm using my own 3D printed clamp. You can download that at the blog for free, but since this adapter weighs 545 grams, which is a little over 1.2 pounds, I would strongly recommend mounting it on rails and having a second point of support. For attaching filters and diopters to the front, I would strongly recommend Vid-Atlantic's replacement ring. It's much more elegant than a clamp, since you will unscrew the front ring of the Sankor that has no threads and replace it with a custom-made part that has 72mm filter threads. We're moving down the line in terms of pricing, and even though the Sankor 16D is not super common, it goes for a much more manageable price, between $250 and $450. Also, make sure you're getting a good copy, because many of these tend to have scratches or some specks of fungus, so watch out for what you're buying. You get excellent results at the center at any aperture, but the edges become less reliable and introduce chromatic aberration as you open up the taking lens. One thing that was very noticeable with this adapter is how the size of the front element in the taking lens affects the result. Just compare the Contax Zeiss 85mm results with the Jupiter 9s, and you'll see what I mean. The huge contacts has way more vignetting and lower image quality, even at the same f-stops, while the Jupiter delivers much better results because of its smaller size. As for flares, the Sankor 16D has similar coatings to the earliest Kowas, delivering cool purplish flares that resemble the flares from real anamorphic lenses with a much higher price tag. And by that, I mean Panavision. The length of the Sankor affects its vignetting negatively. Anything upwards from 100mm is your safe range for full-frame 3.56:1 aspect ratio. You can get barely clear on that with a compact 85mm like the Jupiter 9, but not with all 85mm. And then 2.4:1 at 58mm. 50mm is way too wide and will give you black edges no matter what. Keep in mind that if you're adding a single focus solution, that will build into vignetting. If you want help with this math or to convert it all to a different sensor size, use my calculator. The Sankor 16D squeezes in the top tier of projection lenses thanks to its big glass and its good results. Flares are also desirable as they mimic much more expensive anamorphics, but its limiting factor on longer taking lenses is a big downside for me. That and its shape, which makes a long train of lenses and very front heavy. For me, that's a pretty bad thing. One of its stronger aspects is that it can be had for much cheaper than the Kowas. This concludes this week's review. If this video was useful to you, share it with your friends. Let's make anamorphic a mainstream thing. Feel free to ask questions in the comments below and be sure to subscribe. If you really like this channel, you should support me on Patreon, where you can get awesome rewards like aperture discs, this t-shirt, or even lens mods. And more importantly, you can discuss the fate of this channel and vote on the upcoming episodes. Thank you for watching, and I'm I'll see you next week. Bye bye.